if you have a male, which is what I have. And I feel strangled right now. Hey guys, it's MJ and welcome back to Pet Adventures again. So I hope you guys are liking the do. I'm trying. I know you guys like that kind of thing when I get groovy with the hair. Today I thought that we would list my top 5 best beginner snakes. So as you can see, I am holding a little snaky poo, a little danger noodle with me today, and I thought it would be really fun to have Phoenix join in, you know what I'm saying? But yes, we are going to list my top 5 best beginner snakes. So let's get right into it. So my number 1 beginner snake would definitely have to be a corn snake, and it really comes in pretty close when it comes to corn snakes for me between corn snakes and ball pythons, because they really are technically very easy as a whole for most people. But I will say that corn snakes typically rank up as the number 1 best beginner snake. Most people agree with this just because they eat like that. They are big fatties. They will eat a lot. And when a snake can eat for you every time you want to feed it, that really makes things easier for you, doesn't it? And most people will say that you need a light for a corn snake, for a ball python. However, this is optional. It is not mandatory, and if anything, when it comes to heat lights at least, you do have to be careful because snakes will naturally burn themselves when it comes to lights because they are naturally very curious. And when it comes to the very top of their enclosure, they will try to get all the way up at the top of the enclosure, and if your heat light is directly right on the top of your enclosure, then your snake could get quite hurt if it's a heat light. So I do recommend always using heat mats when it comes to most snakes. There are some exceptional ones. There are some boas, however, that need a lot of lighting. However, I do not think that corn snakes, ball pythons, or any others that I'm about to mention will need a heat light. So that comes in quite handy when you don't want to get a light for your reptile, because sometimes heat lights can be quite pricey. And corn snakes are very friendly. However, they do have a high feeding response, so sometimes this can be a problem just because if they have a high feeding response, they will try to bite you because they get hungry a lot. Okay, they do. They're hungry hippos. But they are super easy, best beginner snakes. They only get to about 4 feet or so, not very big, and they also stay slim, unlike these guys who get quite fatty most of the time. Very fatty. My second best beginner snake would definitely have to be a ball python. Some people disagree on this, but they do come in second to me. They still are quite simple. The only thing is you do need to handle a lot of humidity ranges for them. They do need a lot of humidity compared to corn snakes, but they do feed pretty well, provided that you do it the right way, of course. They can be off feed quite a lot, so you do have to watch out for that. However, other than the feeding, ball pythons are quite easy to take care of. However, they can reach up to 5 feet if you have a female, and most likely 3 to 4 feet if you have a male, which is what I have. And I feel strangled right now. Where's your head? However, ball pythons do make excellent snakes, and they are for the beginner, the standard beginner for sure. It's just that, you know, as far as the feeding, you really have to be on guard with that. But they also only need a heat mat. Corn snakes and ball pythons both lived up to about 20 years, sometimes even 30, depending on how well you keep them. And usually they do live out those years. and they are very, very simple. But still, if you get that corn snake, you really don't have to worry too much. On average, you don't have to worry too much about feedings. My third best beginner snake would have to be a milk snake. Yes. So they don't get quite large. Again, they stay slim just like a corn snake. On average, I think they get about 3 to 4 feet or so. So it's not too bad. I've seen some that reach up to 5 feet, but it's in the range between 3 to 5 feet. I think on average maybe you get about 4 feet or so. Anyways, they're not very large. They're not going to go past 5 feet, that's for sure. Milk snakes are excellent, excellent, sweet little creatures. I actually handle quite a lot of milk snakes and king snakes when I was working at the exotic pet shop, and I loved them a lot. They were super cute. They were spooky noodles, and I really, really loved them. However, milk snakes and king snakes can have a really high feeding response, so you're going to be able to get them to eat pretty well, but because of that high feeding response, they are prone to biting you, and it's not aggressiveness, it's purely just out of being quite hungry. Now, my fourth best beginner snake would definitely have to be a king snake. I love king snakes. I think they're quite cute. They meet in the middle with a corn and a milk snake, so they usually reach up to about 4 feet, and nothing bigger than 5 feet. So they do stay slim. All these corn snakes, milk snakes, king snakes, they all stay pretty slim. Unlike the ball python and boas, they do get pretty girthy. So not only do they reach up to 5 feet sometimes, but they also get quite girthy. So you don't have to deal with that size issue as much. And again, the feeding response is great, and all these snakes that I've mentioned can live off of just having heat mats. If you guys do watch Bryant from Snake Bites, you'll see that most of his snakes live on heat mats and not heat lights. And he does have milk snakes, king snakes, and corn snakes, and ball pythons. He has all those great things, and most of them live off of heat mats. So if you disagree with me, you're disagreeing with also what he says, okay? So let's not have any controversy about it. Controversy, is that a word? Where are you going? Yeah. And my very last snake, my fifth snake that I recommend for beginners is something called a garter snake. Now, garter snakes are not particularly kept as snakes that much, pet snakes, but I do agree with them. They're super easy to take care of, and I really like them. They're actually known for being very, very sweet. They have great temperaments, just like a ball python. Again, the feeding response isn't too bad. I'm not sure if they need any specific lighting. I'm not too sure on their care, but I do know that they're easy to keep. All the people who have kept them say that they have a great old time with them. If you have a garter snake, or have ever had a garter snake, or you have a friend who has a garter snake, let me know down in the comments, because I love those snakes a lot. I think they're really cute. They're a little bit more on the plain side for some people, but they are super sweet, and you just gotta love them. Okay, you guys, so that is it for my best top beginner snakes. I hope that you guys found this list kind of agreeable somewhat. And most of these snakes I have got to spend lots of time with in the exotic pet shop, and one of them I even own. In case you guys are wondering, I did want to get a corn snake originally when I started snake keeping. This is my first and only I've ever had. A ball python, my little phoenix here, my baby. But I ended up finding out corn snake was not good for me because of just what I personally wanted out of a snake. Corn snakes tend to be quite hyper, as ball pythons tend to be quite calm, so it just wasn't for me. But that's just my personal preference. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget that I have rat products out for sale. There's only one in stock, so only one person can grab them, so go ahead and go on over there. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to join the adventures crew here, and please give this video a big thumbs up, especially if you love pets and spooky noodles, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!